I'm a wild animal boy, I'm untamed, I'm uncooked. Like raw cocaine, I'm diabolically off the chain, off the hook, off the meat rack. They say I spit fire, but I'ma say I spit crack. I'm located at the bottom of your map. Your brothers go hard, you other brothers ginger snap. You spit dookie, make me wanna take a grab. I can't stop, I won't stop. I can't stop, I won't stop. I told ya I can't stop, I won't stop. I can't stop, I won't stop. I told ya. Yeah, it writers, y'all ain't no it writers. Y'all it biters, and I'm hotter than a lighter. Y'all in the dark, and my future getting brighter. I'm elevating higher and higher. I'm heating up. It's a fire, fire. As a teenager, I had a felony priors. Put a spin on the game like the spin on your dryer. Or the white walls on your tires. I can't stop, I won't stop. I can't stop, I won't stop. I told ya I can't stop, I won't stop. I can't stop, I won't stop. I told ya. Yeah, I'm back at it like a crack addict. Mississippi finest, Kofi, Piesie. And oh yeah, I'm on the beat, Ubuntu music. I can't stop, I won't stop. 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 All right. Let me change my camera. All right. Welcome back to Kofi Piesie TV. That was who was that, Sean? You on mute, Sean. Your mic muted.
Was that David Banner? Was that Big Crit?
Nah, that was Big Crit. That was Kofi Piesie.
Oh, that Kofi Piesie.
Yeah.
Some of that sip, some of that third coast.
Yeah.
Talk about some of that dark water.
I thought I had the right camera on, but yeah, welcome back to Kofi Piesie. I mean, not Kofi Piesie, but the Griot Podcast, y'all. Welcome back to the Griot Podcast. I am one of the hosts. I'm Kofi Piesie. I am a writer, an author, a ghostwriter, an entrepreneur, a podcaster, amongst other things.
Yeah. And your man Sean P coming in live. That's right. I'm the other half of the modern day Griot. I am the host of the Sean P Experience. I am an educator. I'm an instructor, and just a curator of life, man. Life curation.
For sure. Y'all, please like and share the show. Please like and share the show. This is gonna be a very informative and a fun show today, right? It's gonna be informative and fun, right? So at the same time, y'all learning, we all having fun. So please like and share the show. Peace to everybody in the chat. Peace to Matt. Peace to Sister Ashley Wade. Peace to Zane Motigo. Peace to Donnie Williams. Peace to Teddy Usher Ma'at Seneferu. What I say? Oh, peace to my brother Ibaka. Ibaka will be on season 2. He will be doing the theme song for the Griots Podcast. So shout out to that brother Ibaka that's in the chat, right? Right. Yes, sir. So man, let's get into it, man. We gonna kind of move quick because we got a top of the show, then we got a bottom of the show. So the top of the show, we're gonna be talking about Kwanzaa. What is Kwanzaa? There's several principles of Kwanzaa, the Nguza Saba. We're going to be talking about how to celebrate it with your family. And after that, we're going to set the record straight. But once we explain it, you're definitely going to know that it's not a Black Christmas. It has nothing to do with Christmas at all. So just trying to get that misconception out the way. And then we're going to go into the second half of the show where we're going to talk about our fun, where we're going to talk about my episode
because my episode may be different. So his episode, his episode that he liked, the episode, my most important episode that I like, we're gonna talk about a difficulty episode. We're gonna talk about who was our favorite guest. Man, I'm kind of torn with that, but but we're gonna do that. We're gonna give our overall thoughts, and then we're gonna talk about going into season 2. We have a new host that gonna be joining me and Sean on the Griots Podcast for season 2, right? So y'all don't want to miss who that is, man. We're excited about announcing that, and excited about working with this person on the podcast, right? So first, we'll run down the different segments. I'll run the segments down. Y'all know we go through the same formalities every time. We always gotta open up the show with an honoring segment. We always have to honor a teacher, a scholar, a writer, or author, or a revolutionary from the past or present. Our sponsor segment, we always have to recognize our sponsor segment. Hopefully, next season we'll be able to get some more sponsorships. I'm working on that, so hopefully we'll be able to get 2 or 3. The Griot segment, where we briefly talk about the Griot and Griottes, right? Historical segment today, because we're going to be talking about history today. So within that historical segment, we're going to be talking about Kwanzaa, and then we're going to give you a podcast recap or the yearly recap from the podcast, right? And in that, we're going to do an announcement of the new host that will be joining me and Sean, and then we're going to go into our last segment, which I think is the most important segment. That's just my own personal opinion, but that's the woman segment. We always have to briefly talk and give flowers to our women who contributed to something of value, whether it was in the politic world, the writing world, the author world, the business world, the medical world, academia world, or whatever world that they're making major contributions in, right? So there y'all have it with the outline. So let's get into the opening segment, right? The opening segment is I'm going to be honoring the great late ancestor, Sheikh Auntie Diak, right? And before I honor Sheikh Auntie Diak, a lot of these people that I honor, I have studied them extensively, or if studied them extensively over the years. And these are just a few books I was able to grab real quick. So once I run it down, if y'all interested and don't know who Sheikh Auntie Diak is, but this is one of his books that I done read from front to back right here. This is the African Origin of Civilization, Myths and Reality, Sheikh Auntie Diak. We always have to show literature, man, because this is a literature podcast as well. Black Africa, the economic cultural basis of federated state, expanded edition. This is Sheikh Auntie Diak book right here.
Yeah.
Here is another. I got quite a few, but these one I grab real quick. Pre-colonial, which also is another book too. Pre-colonial to Black Africa, by Sheikh Auntie Diak. Right. So these are 3 of the publications. He has tons of publications.
Classical text.
Yes.
Classical text, man. I mean, once again, while we're honoring these people and talking about these people, please go out there and actually read their work, read their thoughts, read their initiatives and things that they were spearheading, because we see a lot of things happening today that might seem like it's a brand new concept, and they put some new packaging on it, they put some new gloss on it, but the scholars already did the work. The scholars did the scholarship already. We're just honoring them and bringing them back to the forefront. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes, most definitely. So, and happy Kwanzaa to you as well, Anthony. Peace, brother. Peace. So let's get into who he is real quick. We'll get back into that in just a second.
That's important. That's important right there. That's important.
Today is the birthday of Queen Mother Amy.
Jacob.
Oh yes.
Vital.
Gungun Kiki Gungun to the ancestors.
Yes.
Right. So here is Sheikh Auntie Diak. He is one of the major world scholars. Was born near Senegal on December the 29th, 1923. At the age of his 23, he went to Paris, France to continue to advance studies in physics. Within a very short time, however, he was drawn deeper into the studies relating to Africa origin of humanity and civilization, becoming more and more an activist active in the American student movement and demands of independence of the French colony possession, he became convinced that only by examining and restoring Africa restored malign and obscure place in the world history could be the physical and psychological shackles of colonialism be lifted from all African people. His initial doctoral dissertation submitted at the University of Paris, Sorbonne in 1951, based on the premise that Egypt or Kemet or Timeri of the pharaohs, and I'm saying these other terminologies because I know y'all know it as Egypt, y'all know it as Pharaoh, but pharaohs, he's saying pharaohs, that's kings, but it's no such thing as a pharaoh. Pharaoh comes from the word per-ha. Per-ha means great house. We don't go around telling here comes the White House when the president is coming. Here come the White House, it's come the White House. So per-ha is from the word pharaoh. But Pharaoh, y'all know as kings, was an African civilization, was rejected by his Africans, determined by the published under the title Nations Nigra, etc. culture in 1955. And it won him an international acclaim. Two additional attempts to have his doctoral granted were turned back until 1960, when he entered the defense sessions with an array of psychologists, anthropologists, and historians, and successfully carried his argument after nearly a decade of efforts. Diop won his battle for the doctoral. By this time, Diop and his other intellectual works, The Cultural Unities and the Black Africa and the Pre-Colonial Africa and Black Africa, as a result of his studies. He also have a school named after him in Senegal. He's from Senegal. So he has a school named after him, a university called the Cheikh Anta Diop University, right? So he is a well-renowned scholar and a well-renowned historian, and he's a well-renowned scientist, African scientist. So
a lot of different fields covered in that one man, which is amazing, by the way.
Yes.
And
yes.
for a lot of people, a lot of scholar circles, he is in that Mount Rushmore of all-time scholars, along with Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben, and you know, names, you know what I'm saying? But he's definitely one of them ones, like they say in sports. One of them ones. He one of them ones.
He one of them ones.
He one of them ones. Yeah, he one of them ones. He one of them ones. Yeah. Yes. So my honoring the ancestor section is the brother William Steele. That's right, William Steele. From 1821 to 1902, a conductor on the Underground Railroad who helped nearly 800 enslaved African Americans to freedom. William Steele was a leading 19th century abolitionist working in Philadelphia, conducted hundreds of enslaved people to freedom via the Underground Railroad. His name is often forgotten, and I want to add to that. In the movie that came out a few years ago on Harriet Tubman, right, they showed William Steele.
Yep.
And in the modern day Griot, in the book, we speak on the power of oral traditions and oral stories. So he was actually taking down all of these people's story, where they came from, what they went through, who their slave master was. I mean, all the things that they was giving him, all of that's compiled in his documentation, in his notes, right? So there are books on William Steele. I have two of the books on William Steele. One of them came out a few years ago. You can find it easily at your Barnes and Nobles, your Books of Me, wherever you get your books, you can find it. I have the Kindle version, but we got to definitely recognize a person like William Steele and what he did. Once again, the power of the scribe, the power of the griot. Mm-hmm. Him taking down those stories of hundreds of slaves is important, man.
Yes, most definitely. Shout out to the ancestor. Shout out to him. And you know, and I wish, and while we mentioning him and we mentioning Cheikh Anta Diop, man, I wish we could be more like before we move further, because when we honor a lot of people, we don't honor a lot of people on these episodes, and a lot of these people, they were in the greater good, man, of our people, right? They a lot of these people we honoring, they committed selfless acts. It wasn't about them, right? It was about the greater good, you know what I'm saying, of propelling our community, our society, our people, not, globally, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to these people. And I wish we can get back in the mind frame where we are fearless, because our ancestors were fearless. They were fearless, right? And they did whatever they had to do by committing these selfless acts, you know what I'm saying, for the greater good of the next generation, and the generation after that, man. So I just want to, end it off with that, man.
No, what you said just now was important, man, and you're right. They were totally selfless. We had our whole episode on the poor righteous teachers, the recap show, and the reason why some of these guys became poor righteous teachers, unfortunately, because they were so giving, they were so selfless. It was about the greater good of everybody. It wasn't even about them getting the accolades and a pat on the back and the way to go. It was like, man, I feel compelled to do this work, and so they did.
Yes, yes. Shout out to the ancestors. And before we get into the sponsor segment, if y'all don't have the Modern Day Griot and Griottes, please go get the Modern Day Griot and Griottes, the new generation book. It is available right now on all print on demand. But we want you to we want you to patronize us directly by going to www.sametreedifferentbrandspublishing.com or DM me or Sean for a publication. But
Come on, man. Come on, man.
yes, but that's where you support us at, by going directly to us and not those print on demand.
Man, Kofi, let them peep the drip right quick. Let them peep the drip right quick.
Yes.
Let them peep the. Now y'all have seen 10 episodes of various shirts, colors, styles. See hoodie season. You see what it is, man. So we're doing a lot of things in 23, man. Books, the merch, there are classes coming. Like it's a lot has transpired, and today is a day to us to recognize that and glorify that.
Yes.
Kofi and myself soak that in, take that in, receive that in our spirit. That's what it's all about, man.
Yes, yes. And if you want the hoodies, go to Mboka Family Connect Apparel. That's MBOKA/Family Connected Apparel. And that is where all of our merch is on. So you can get all the merch, even the cat Sean has on right now. The Modern Day Griot.
That thing's sweet. That thing's sweet. But I gotta say something too. As a consumer, and I told Kofi this in private when the hoodie came in a couple of days ago. I said, bro, this thing feels good. Like the literal feel of the hoodie, not just how it looks. Because all hoodies ain't the same. All material ain't the same.
Most definitely.
The literal feel of the hood. I said, man, this feels good.
Yes, most definitely. Also, go get the ebook, right? Ooh. Go get the ebook, the Modern Day Griot and Griottes, new generation. But we have the ebook out, so we have a different cover because same project, different cover, but up under a different formatting when it comes to putting a book out.
I love that cover, bro.
Yes,
I love that cover.
Yes.
So let's do like 30 seconds. How did we come to this cover? Because clearly we got more than one cover, right?
I mean, we just did a bunch of covers, man, and we just rocked and went with one. And then when we said we put out another format, we'll jump to the next cover. So this is it. It's available on Barnes and Nobles, .com, and it's also available on Apple. So Apple.
The Apple people out there that love to brag on the Apple product.
Right. So I'm one of them.
I ain't even know. I ain't even know that.
Oh, I got Apple stuff everywhere.
I just learned something. I just learned something new about you.
But yeah, Apple Books and Barnes and Nobles. Just go in there, go to the ebook section, type in the book. It'll pop up, download it, and you can get the ebook version.
And you can gift it to people. Don't forget that. You can gift ebook. My mama always send me ebooks.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
You can gift them to your family, friends, nephews, whoever, man. So
yes.
You got it.
All right. So sponsor segment. Our sponsor segment, we always have to give it up for our sponsor. This woman has sponsored to us a few times. So we want to give a shout out to Tracy George and her business, Village Seated. Village Seated is based out of Riverside, California. It is about coming together as a village and spreading the seed of knowledge knowledge by recommendations, donation, or selling books. Its focus is building communities, relationships to provide support, awareness. I need my glasses so bad.
No,
but
you're good.
but that is our that is our sponsor. So shout out to Tracy George and her business Village Seed for sponsoring the Griot Podcast in
Please,
2023.
please
And
check
again,
her page, check her things. She got merch, she got things of that nature, man. Support the sister. She does wonderful community work. Community work.
yes, go support that sister. Go support Tracy George.
Yes, sir.
So the Griot section. So this is what we'll do with the Griot section, man. Well, I'll just run through it real quick. We ain't got to read the entire thing, but you
Okay.
know, a lot of the people that's in here right now should already know what a Griot is. But we know, griots are unique to West Africa. Y'all all should know that, griots and griottes. The griots is the male, the griottes is the female versions. We know the griot is more than just a storyteller. He's a teacher, he's a historian, he's a genealogist, he's a spokesperson, he's an ambassador, he's a teacher, he or she, excuse me, musicians, warriors, interpreters, praise singers, masters of ceremonies, advisors, negotiators, mediators, right? These are the many roles that the griots and the griottes facilitate. And if you want more information about the griots and the griottes, just go get our book, The Griots and Griottes, The New Generation. The Griots and Griottes, The New Generation, right? And, we break it down. We even, bring it up to speed to the modern day griots who are the modern day griots. Because we got to also be looking, and honoring those who are facilitating those roles for the greater good of our people, right? So that is the griot section right there. So now let's get into the history segment, right? So the history segment. So this segment, we're going to be talking about Kwanzaa, right? There is so much. Is a lot of people, don't even know. And I be doing these things where I just go around and asking, right? So I asked about a lot of us, what is Kwanzaa? A lot of people said, what is Kwanzaa? It kind of irritated me because a lot of us didn't know exactly what Kwanzaa. I never heard of what Kwanzaa world was, right? And
Now
so
let me
go ahead.
no, just running through it. Like we said, this is important because whenever you and I first started doing this modern day griot thing, we went around asking people early in the year, what's a griot? And not many people around us, online or in person, knew what a griot was.
Yes,
Which is why we take the time every show and break down what a griot is for those that's just coming for the first time. But the same thing with this whole Kwanzaa concept. Where I live at, where I'm from, if I had a camera and the mic and walked around, I don't think anybody would give me a straight answer on what Kwanzaa is. There's not many folks that I know that even celebrate or take part in Kwanzaa directly.
Mhm.
So they would be in that category of not knowing.
Yeah,
Which is why today's show is important to get the breakdown and the history and
right.
the practices and things of that nature is important. And we're educating,
Exactly. And I have participated in Kwanzaa multiple times in my own home, as well as going to different functions, right? Or even the last day, which, is an experience in itself, going to parades and, going to the entertaining aspect, which we're going to talk about that. But also as me experiencing these things, I have did multiple presentations on this platform as well as Mossy Warrior Clan because I am a member of the Mossy Warrior Clan, right? So in 2007, in 2017, I did a presentation called Kwanzaa Presentation. Go check that out. In 2018, I did What is Kwanzaa and is Kwanzaa a real African celebration? Because there are also people who are saying that because of certain person created Karinga who created Kwanzaa, that it did not have African elements or culture, which those are people who are misinformed. So I had to deal because that's my specialty. I deal with African culture and tradition and language as well, right? So in 2019, Kwanzaa Kwanzaa is not a Black Christmas, right? Because some people think that that's the substitute for Christmas for the Black folks when it's not. Kwanzaa, 2021, Kwanzaa is approaching, and let's really talk about it, right? So I did 4 different presentations. So I done presentations on it, and studied on it, and also experienced it in my own home, as well as going out to other different Kwanzaa functions, right? So And I'm just throwing that out there so people can say, well, you may not know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about. So let's get into it. So Kwanzaa, right? So what is Kwanzaa, right? Kwanzaa is a 7-day festival of the first fruit. I want y'all to remember that. It says Kwanzaa is a 7-day festival of the first fruit. So when we get to the part where we talk about Christmas, you'll be like, no, it has nothing to do with Christmas, right? And even what we talk about Christmas don't have nothing to do with Christmas or what they say Christmas is, but that's a whole nother topic, a whole nother story for a whole different day, right? So it is the first festival for the first fruit. It is the reestablishment of African traditions, which expresses itself in many forms and at the different times as a celebration of the harvest of the first crops. In some parts of Africa, it is celebrated for 40 days, in other places for 2 weeks, and in some places for months. But in majority of the places on on and around the continent, it seems to have been celebrated for 7 days. It was the great harvest festivals of the first fruit. Today, the Africans in America here in the Western Hemisphere call it Kwanzaa. So Karinga did take elements from African culture, right? And I'm going to show because I like showing and proving, right? So I don't like just talking and speaking. It's about showing and proving, right? So he took those elements, right? Because we understand that majority of our people, no matter what you say, we come from kings and queens. Nobody says that they come from blacksmiths. Nobody says that they comes from the griots. Nobody says that they comes from farmers who cultivate rice, who cultivate beans, right? No one says that they are hunters, right? So we always talking about we come from kings and queens, but we also comes from these other different facets in our culture, right? So we had to farm, right? We had to plant things, right, in order for it to grow for our survival, right? Right? So let's get more into it because what I'm talking, we'll get more into it because I want to deal a little bit deep with the first fruit. So East Africa. So East Africa, Kwanzaa resurrected in a traditional African celebration that recognized importance of working together for harvesting the first fruit. This holiday is formed no particular geographical boundaries on the continent. It is the kind of celebration that was common to most African societies through the names we as varies as mainly language that are spoken on the continent. Several African people celebrated much of the first harvest festivals among those of the Kamba. So we're talking about the Kamba tribe in East Africa. They not only celebrated it, but they also had their own. We're talking about first fruit festivals because that's what Kwanzaa is. It's about celebrating your first fruit. It's about celebrating reaping the harvest, right? So the first fruit festivals among the Kamba and the Kikuyu people of Kenya, that's also in East Africa. They call the harvest festival Negata. And the Ibona is the first fruit festival celebrated by the Kikuyu people. The Kisu and Uganda offer their first fruit to the creator before anyone tastes them in the celebration called the Impolo. In Nigeria, the Kataba celebrated their harvest by having the senior male of each household offer thanks for the yearly supply of the foods. Does this make sense to y'all? Does it make sense? Because those who practice Kwanzaa inside of their house are going to these different Kwanzaa festivals that are also hosted 45 minutes away from me that I have experienced. These things start to make sense. Oh, so you telling me in East Africa and West Africa, you mentioned people in Nigeria celebrate this first fruit celebration or festival. You mentioned the Kikuyu and the Kamba people and their names for their first fruit festival. So it is in Africa. Let's go to South Africa. Do the people in South Africa first fruit festivals of the Nguni people in Southern Africa. The Khoiso, the Zulu, the Nimbala, and the Swazi people are the type of Pacific ceremonies of giving the first fruit and the harvest to the gods, right? Or to the gods who are believed to who are responsible for the abundance of foods. And it's mentioning gods because in African culture, I know that we have been taught that matriarch, you know what I'm saying? Not matriotic, but we're talking that there's you have the supreme God and there's nothing less. But in Africa, we have pantheons. We have the supreme deity and we have the lesser deities. And the lesser deities are nothing but architects of the natural environment. So they amorphosize animals, they amorphosize things in nature and deem it to be godly like. Water, to be exact. If you go to Kemet, or what y'all call Egypt, when we look at the Happy River, right, or the Niger River, water sustains us, right? Water keeps us alive. They revere the sun. Ra is also is deified as a god, because if the sun leaves here today, y'all, we out of here. The sun leave here today, we out of here. So they deified things and amorphosize it and create it to be deities, right? So they're mentioning God. So I don't want nobody, they're talking about gods. They don't have nothing to do with us. Priests of the kingdoms of kings are always attendants, experiencing after the seasons of agricultural periods. So there you have it right there. So it is a cultural base out of Africa. I just talked about East Africa, West Africa, and South Africa. Gave you the names of the different tribes or the different ethno groups, right? I like to use the word ethnic groups instead of tribes, but ethnic groups, right? And the names of their first fruit, because all Kwanzaa is celebrating your first fruit. It is us coming together, which comes to the first discussion of the several principles of Ngunza Saba, which is Umanja. Umanja is unity. We can't do anything if we don't unify. So when you go and look in the historical records of things that we have did majorly, we have unified to did it, right? We unified under no chaos, because when there's chaos, there's destruction. We can't do anything, right? So we have Umanja, Kiji Kuchalia, we have Ujamaa, we have Ujame, we have Nia, we have Kuamba, which is today, the 31st, and we have Umani, which is tomorrow. Unity for Umanja, Kuchakachalia is self-determination, Ujamaa is collective responsibilities. Not Ujamaa, Ujamaa, Ujame is cooperative economics. Nia is purpose. Kuamba today is creativity. So happy Kwanzaa, y'all. So anytime I will come to you and I will say Harabini Gani, and then you will reply Kuamba. So that will be the greeting. So if you was at a festival or doing this inside of your home today, you would say Harabina Gani, and they will reply Kuamba. And then Umani is tomorrow, which is the last day. Kwanzaa is celebrated 7 days, from December the 26th to December the 26th to January the 1st. You got something, Sean?
Yeah, I want to say something just real quick. I know Matt in the building, Dr. Wade in the building. They had a wonderful breakdown yesterday on Instagram. Go and check their page out when it comes to religion and concepts like that, right? But like, just hearing you talk about the first fruits and the celebration of the first fruits and the harvest, right? And hearing them talk about yesterday the sun celebration, sun worship, or the moon, or water. When you really simply boil it down and think about it, why they celebrated these things? We have all this technology now, right? We got these smartphones and we got LED lights and we got things where we feel like the sun not that important. You know, the harvest not that. We got McDonald's. The harvest not that important. The moon not that important. But like, you really break it down, like you saying, if that sun stopped coming up, that's a wrap on everything. So we see why they venerated the sun. We see why the first harvest was so vitally important, right? So, you know.
Yes, most definitely.
I want to highlight that because it's real simple, bro. Just think about it.
Yes,
that's why they celebrated these things.
Right, and it's simple.
It's simple.
And people
make it complicated.
Right, they make it complicated. Right, they make it so complicated. Right, but those are people that is not well studied. Right, those are people that when they hear foreign information, they reject it instead of saying, "Okay, I didn't know that. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Bro, let me go do my own due diligence research." They just reject it and say,
Kofi, I'll make it more simple than that. Talk about modern day times. Anybody saw The Color Purple movie that came out past few weeks? I saw it last night. I'm not gonna spoil the movie. At a certain point in the movie, They go out there to the field for the harvest, and they're freaking out because the whole crop is destroyed.
Mhm.
And you can see how devastating it was for them because there was no harvest, there was no first fruit. And what that meant to them at that time in the early 1900s, that was a wrap. Had to burn the whole field down,
Yep.
right?
And
That was a
start next.
devastating moment in the movie. So I'm only saying to say we see why they celebrated the harvest and a successful planting season. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes, and that's basically all it is. So they would celebrate like I showed you in certain African cultures, it's 10 days. Certain African cultures, they go for 30 days. Certain African cultures go for 40 days. Certain African cultures go for 7 days. That's what we utilize. But there's a whole different thing on why Karinga did 7 days, right? Because when you go look at Kwanzaa and his original, when we talk about Kiswahili, right? That's where I love to study different African culture, Kiswahili, Wolof, um, um, what's the other one? Um, the U language and so forth, right? It's great to understand it from their perspective, right? Because you lose translations when you translate it from a target language into the language that you were speaking, right? Even with those who use the biblical narratives. I always try to tell them if you're gonna follow certain things, you have to understand the original tongue that it was speaking in. So those who follow the New Testament, right, which is majority of the churches today, coin Greek, right? Those who follow the Old Testament, then you need to look at Hamharic and Aramaic and Hebrew. Hebrew and Aramaic is the Old Testament, and the New Testament is Koine Greek. So anytime I'm digging in different cultures, I'm also trying to understand the language so I can get it from their perspective and not from a translation, because certain words you can't translate into the English vernacular, right? So, but anyway, so before I go any further, I want to state that Kwanzaa is not a Black Christmas and was never intended to be. The very ideas of Kwanzaa was practiced way before Christmas inventions. Kwanzaa means the first fruit or the first crop, which we have established. We have established that's all it is. It has nothing to do with St. Nicholas. It has nothing to do with reindeers. It has nothing to do with giving presents away. It has nothing with doing with going into these stores and going broke, going into the next year trying to supply gifts. It has nothing to do with you crediting a white man with a beard for all the presents that's in the household. It has nothing to do with it. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question, Kofi. You are very well versed on Kwanzaa, way more than myself, right? Which is why you breaking it down. I'm sitting there learning as you talking myself. Is there a particular reason why it's in December, or that just happened to be?
Where it's in December because he set it up that way because of people are off. Most of the times he set it up during these holidays. And the new you got so December, you got Christmas and you got the New Year's. So
Yeah.
most of the time people are taking
Oh
off
yeah,
in
they're
between
off
that
in
gap.
that
The
section.
school, the school systems is
Got it.
shut down.
Yep.
You got parents that are taking breaks. You got some jobs are take a week or two off. You got some jobs take a couple of days off. So he did it right after to December the 25th, which was the 26th, going into January the 1st, because there'll be more Black families that can be able to celebrate that, even if they can't celebrate every day. They off on some day at some point where they can celebrate it. So that was the reasoning why he did it on those specific those
Okay.
7 days on those
See, once
specific
again, we
days.
get into the rhyme and the reason. So now it makes more sense as to why it's at this time.
Mhm.
And once again, to reinforce the point that it's not about being a Black Christmas,
Mhm.
it's about a particular time of the year where you happen to be off. It's typically at that time.
Yes, that's all it is. But people again
Simplified.
overcomplicate.
It's simple. Yeah, it's
Yes,
simple.
but they overcomplicate things. And again,
Most things are simple.
yes,
Most things are simple.
and the thing is, we have to get out of the stages of being lazy. A lot of us is lazy, but we also have to keep an open mind too, right? That is the main thing. We got to be able to keep an open mind and not stay in a back box, right? Because everything that what I'm saying, we can't just be okay, well, I was brought up like that. Just because you were brought up like that doesn't always mean that it's right. If I was brought up in a household of nothing but murderers and I was taught to be a murderer, I didn't know that doesn't I so I that I that's all I know. That's all I know. That's tradition for us to go out once a year and kill somebody and bring them back to the house, or kill somebody and sacrifice. I'm just using, that might be a bad example, but I'm just saying things that we are taught doesn't always necessarily mean to be right. So now we have to go back and start verifying some of the things that we are taught, right? Or some of the things that we believe in. There's nothing wrong with going back and verifying, right? Verifying, right, is the key word today. Verify. Right. So now, well, hold on, but let's go into, and then we're gonna go into the second top of the show. But let's go into how to celebrate it. For those, what does it look like in a household? So all you need is red, black, and green. You can decorate. Let's just say your most of your time, you're gonna spend most of your time in your kitchen or in your living room or your dining room. So decorate those with red, black, and green, right? Those are some of the colors. What you will need to celebrate Kwanzaa inside of your household.
Before you continue, the red, black, and the green, could you break down what the red, black, and the green is? They might confuse it with the red, black, and the green from the RBG.
Well, it's basically almost the same thing until we get to the candles. But I'll give the colors the colors first. The black, we should know the black is for black culture, or for the for the people. Red is for the blood our ancestors have shedded, and green is for our roots, or the continent of Africa. That's basically all the colors are for. But when you get to the colors, which you're gonna need for Kwanzaa, you're gonna need 1 black candle, you're gonna need 3 red candles and 3 green candles, which makes 7. So the black is only 1 color, and black represents the past. That is your ancestors. So that is the first candle that you would light on the first day of Umanja, which is unity. And then you have the green. The red is for the present, and the green means the future. So the past, the present, and the future. Black is for the past, red is for the present, and green is for the future. That's what those colors are. So every day, those 7 candles, you will need 7 candles. You will need a thing of corn, which represents your family and the children that you have. You will need a candle holder to hold those 7 candles in, and you will need fruit. We're talking about the first fruit. These are things that sustains us. We need these things to nourish our body. So you need a basket of fruit. You also need African decorations if you have those. And if you have dashikis or any type of African wear, you can wear those on those days. But each day that you light a candle, you light the black candle on the first day. The second day, you will light the black candle. You would put the black candle out. The second day, you will relight the black candle. Then you will light the red candle. And then on the third, you'll put it out but during those processes, you will read the affirmation. After you light the candle, you read the affirmation. Each day has an affirmation. And after the affirmation, y'all eat and y'all talk about, like today is creativity. So we will be around our table today talking about what are we going to do for creativity going into the new year, because those Ngunza Sabbaths, those 7 principles, are not just for you to talk about or do the 7 days of Kwanzaa. Those are things that you implement and go into the new year with, right? So you go into the new year with cooperative economics, cooperative economics. You go into it with self-determination. You go into it with unity. You go into it with faith. You go into it with creativity. Go ahead.
See, Kofi, I just told Dr. Wade and them yesterday about what they were talking about their show. People have an application problem. We can get all this knowledge, all this wisdom. People have an application problem. You said something important. It's meant to be lived out. It's meant to be carried out beyond the 7 days, lighting the candle. See, people are so dogmatic. They'll do all the processes, right? We're going to light the candle. We're going to wear the dashiki. We're going to eat some food. We're going to talk about, and you leave it at that. And whatever you practice, whatever your concept is, they leave it at the dogma. I'm gonna do some Hail Marys. I'm gonna throw some oil, put some ashes on my forehead. I'm gonna kneel. I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna kneel. I'm gonna stand. Like, you ain't living nothing outside them doors, though. So you gotta live the principles, man. Whatever the principle is.
Yes, that's all it is, man. Just living those principles, man. Living those principles. But those are some of the ways. And then you do give gifts out. You can give gifts out, what they call, and I don't even want to pronounce the word because I'm gonna tear it up, but it means festival, because that's it. It's the last day, which tomorrow, your family gonna be celebrating. So now you're gonna have the drums in there, y'all gonna be dancing, y'all gonna be singing, right? And y'all gonna, y'all gonna venerate the ancestors, give it up for those who in your family who set a legacy for y'all family. And in the purpose, you can also give gifts. But first, before you give any gifts, the first gift that or token that you have to give is a book, especially to the children. The first gift is a book. The first gift is a book. Then you can give other gifts afterward. That's if they have earned that and put those Ngunza sabas into practice the entire year. And I'm going this up here, shameless plug, get my daughter book.
Wow. So Kofi,
Heavy.
they are rewarded for practicing these principles all year long.
All year long. Yes. Yes.
Huh.
And the first gift is a book.
It is. You know what? I'm gonna give you this right quick. I'm gonna throw that to you right quick. You have to demonstrate proficiency at these things when you get this gift.
Yes. And again, go get heavy. Go get heavy. Go get heavy. My daughter's book. Go get heavy.
Placement.
Yeah. And I dropped the ball this week of promoting it, but I'll be back up heavily promoting the book next week. And shout out to everybody who's been purchasing the book off the website too. But yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so there you have it, man. So now let's go into the topic, the top of the show, which now we're going to talk about our favorite episode, our favorite guest, our most difficulty episode, our overall thoughts of the Griots Podcast, right? Because we created this 10 months ago, 10 months ago, season 1. So our overall thoughts, and then we're going to share. We have a new guest. Not a new guest. I keep saying new guest, but we have a new host who's going to be joining the Griots Podcast season 2, starting in January, right? That episode will air January the 21st, I think. So we're going to announce that person. We're excited about it. You're going to start seeing a bunch of rollouts. I'm going to keep pushing the button, pushing that person in your face. Let's get into it, man. So hopefully y'all kind of got a gist of what Kwanzaa is, hope we answers a few questions on that. If you got any more. Oh, matter of fact, before we do that, I'm going to throw out some books. This is by Ishashaka Musa Barashango. This is book 1. I have both books. African People and European Holidays, a mental genocide. I'm telling you.
I don't have it, but I've seen it. Yeah,
every person needs volume 1 and volume 2. It don't only talk about Kwanzaa. It talks about the holidays and why we shouldn't celebrate the holidays and the origins of these holidays, right? So he talks about Kwanzaa here. So this is a great book right here. Talks about Kwanzaa. This is something else. This is Natural Geographic for kids. For your kids. This is called Celebrating Kwanzaa.
I need that. I like that.
Easy.
I like their work.
Kwanzaa. This is another book. This is How to Celebrate It in Your Home. This is by Captain Minnick Taylor and Charles Taylor. They are husband and wife. They put together a quick read, something real simple that I have had for years. So these are some things that are pieces of literature. If you want to expound on it.
I bought one on Kindle to educate myself. It's probably about 50 pages, give or take, man, but it get real to the origins, the heart and soul of it, why it was created, get to all those things, the days of the week, the colors, everything that goes into all of that. Real simplified manner, man. So everybody that gets education up on the holiday.
Yes. So that was 3, but there's tons of literature on Kwanzaa, right? And there's tons of people who celebrate it if you want, to talk to them and get their, their experiences, right? I loved it. I wanted to do it this year, but I couldn't buy, I think it's called the Canard in the
Yeah,
Kiswahili War.
yeah,
Yes, and that thing is high. And I was gonna buy a cheap one, but I was scared the candles were going to be too skinny to fit because I think the holes were big, so I didn't even get them. But we will be doing it again next year. But let's get into it, dog. So I'll start. No, I'm gonna ask you, Sean. What is and by the way, y'all don't take this personal, right? I went back and forth. So we gonna talk about our favorite episode, our difficulty episode, and our favorite guest, right? So we had quite a few guests on the show, right? And so don't take it personal if yours want the favorite, because I go by criterias. I went by certain criterias. So that's me. I don't know what Sean went by, but your favorite episode, Sean. What was out of all 10 episodes? Well, all 9 because we're shooting the 10th one right now. So what
yeah.
will be your favorite episode for the Griots Podcast?
So far, man, my favorite episode was episode 2, which is Dear Mama episode, right? And I'm saying it because of episode about Tupac Shakur, his mother, Afeni Shakur, and the Tupac Shakur documentary, which is on Hulu, by the way, it's called Dear Mama, which is why that was the catalyst for that particular show. Just the love he had between he and his mom and their relationship, and then the way that they talked about it in the documentary, and the way it was highlighted, and the way in which his aunts and his cousins and some of his family members all talked about their dynamic and everything like that is very powerful. But also, the book that we read around that show, the American Family book, had just came out around that time, early in the year. Mm-hmm. And then we got the Afeni Shakur book.
Mm-hmm.
Because for all these episodes, we're getting these books for all these episodes.
Yeah.
Books. So the reason why my favorite show, because the energy leading up into the show, and even during the show, man, we had did so much studying for that show.
Yes.
Of course, both of us, our age range, we're Tupac Shakur fans, I'm sure. So
yes, sir.
That's why it's my favorite episode today.
Yeah, I love that episode too. It was one of those, like I did 2 and I compared and weighed the 2. You know, I weighed the 2. And the reason why I'll say is it almost made the list, but it didn't. And I love that episode is because I learned a lot about the women, right? So that was more because I have always studied. Most of my studies has been, if it's on an individual, it has always been about men versus the women. But it has been, I have studied more. Of my studies have been about women because we always talk about women, you know, and we revere women, right? But it was it made me dig deep into my bag, and now I'm saying I have to make it even. I can't do study the whole year, and if I'm studying an individual, I done study 20 different individual men and I only studied 3. Come on, Kofi, you got to do better than that. So if I'm gonna study 20 men, I got to study 20 women as well. So
that's why I told you for the past probably 4 or 5 years, I've been doing my private studies. Different guys that I like a whole lot. I try to go and find a book on their wives, like Paul Robeson's wife. Yes. I can never say her name correctly, all respect. His wife book is incredible. Of course, Betty Shabazz, Coretta Scott King,
yes.
Nelson Mandela, Winnie Mandela. You know, we can go on and on about these different people that I've taken my time to study their spouse or study their children. You know, Malcolm X's daughters writing books, you know, things like that. Study them. You know?
Yes. So my favorite episode will be episode 5. And the reason why episode 5 to me was it was so epic, right? And I already don't sleep, but I really didn't sleep because of the excitement. And episode 5 was the book launch. So it was also not only the book launch, we all was meeting in real time. We all shot episode 5 together. Me, Sean, Matt, Keith, and Dr. Wade. We all was in the building at the same time. Right. So, and we shot it at the same time, and the chemistry, it wasn't off. It was like we had been doing this together the entire time. And we had just met and we did the show, you know what I'm saying? And everything just flowed well. And also it was
And
go
I'm
ahead.
gonna just say the energy from that weekend. This is months ago. This is August. It's still reverberating like right now. Like just thinking about it, I still feel the goosebumps and the excitement all over again, as if it just happened. Like it was such a very real, transparent, surreal moment to sit there in the lobby signing books with y'all. Like I got books, you got books.
Yep.
I've never did a book signing with fellow people at the same exact time. We all sitting there passing books around. Matt doing what Matt do, organizing. You know what I'm
Beautiful.
saying?
Beautiful.
It was just a wonderful. I hope to do it again in 24.
We ain't no hope. We doing it. We doing it, bro. Because I mean, we doing it. Yes, and it just had a great impact on my life because it solidified. Right, it solidified a friendship with Dr. Wade. It solidified a friendship with Matt. Right, and I took away a whole lot from shooting that episode and just hanging around you, Keith, Dr. Wade, and Matt, which it impacted me so much. So on the other side of the room, I have a workstation over there with a TV at, and on the side of the wall, I have a humongous picture of us all up in the bookstore. What's the next? Shout out to the bookstore. What's the bookstore?
The book rack.
The book rack. A picture where my wife took a picture with Dr. Wade sitting in the seat and me,
the queen,
Matt, and Keith surrounding her, holding books, man. Damn, that's a powerful picture. I said, I had to put that in I had to put that in here.
I mentioned technology earlier in the conversation, right? But we have these technology friendships and technology relationships these days. It's still nothing like literally being in the physical space. First time we ever dap up and embrace in real time and actually hug each other, clown with each other, cut up, eat, break bread. That solidified things in a way different way than what it was before.
Yes, man. I'm telling you, man. So I appreciate, and I don't, and Dr. Wade and Matt, y'all in here, I don't just hang pictures of people willy-nilly. So y'all definitely have to mean something for me to have pictures.
You saw them twice this year, Kofi. You saw them twice this year.
Yeah, I went to Dallas. I went to Dallas. I went to Dallas. Got pictures of them when we was in Dallas too. I wish we would have took a little bit more than what we took. Like, we took tons of them. We was in there, but we took a few when we was in Dallas. So I met them twice, man. So that's good people, man. So that was mine.
The next question was the most
difficult episode.
The most difficult episode for me. Okay, so let me break this down. Why I say the word difficulty, right? So just like even today's episode will be a good example of it, right? So coming into the show, we discussed, okay, today's topic gonna be blah blah blah. So the beautiful thing about this podcast is Kofi is more well versed at various things than I am, and every once in a while I might know something that Kofi doesn't know, right? So if Kofi is the expert on the matter, I got to get my skills up to be able to do the show. So when I say the episode we did on the Black church and religion, right? And then what we did, episode 9 was African spirituality. But today will be a good episode too, where it's like coming into the show, coming into that week, I wasn't as already knowing about it, might be as Kofi is. So it's a difficulty show because I got to go and do that much more research to be able to come on these cameras and microphones and speak about a matter in an educated, solidified way, not just willy-nilly throwing out, bringing up stuff, right? To be on point with it, I got to really dig in my bag and in the behind the scenes and get up to speed to be able to do a solidified show. So when I say the word difficulty, that's what I mean by it. It's not about it being, it's not about nothing else besides just that. You know what I mean?
Man, mine had to be episode 7. Episode 7 was with Sipped and Read.
Yep.
And the reason why I'm saying it was my most difficulty episode was I'm not a novel reader. I'm not a fictional type of guy.
Fantasy,
romance, yes. So You know, I'm more historical, nonfiction type of guy, right? So
Yep.
that's where plethora of my books. Not saying I don't have them because but that episode I learned a lot. But it was my most difficulty because I'm not versed. You know, I just recently started reading novels, courtesy to Sean, right? And Sean recommend, and I take Sean recommendations, you know what I'm saying, as like, you know, high standard. You know, when some people
Wow.
recommend books to me, I'll be like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
every book, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
I don't take everybody recommendations, right? Because
Yeah.
and I have did that in that past when I first started coming up through the ranks and studying. I have gave books that have misinformation in them, right? You know, because that is something also because when you're dealing with nonfiction, I'm just saying giving books when we talk about nonfiction, right? Or historical nonfiction, you have to understand proper research methodology. And just because you pull out a book and somebody wrote a book and you go to paraphrasing or go to reading the material out of the book doesn't always mean that information holds up. So now I have to put the information through scrutiny. So this is where research come in at, right? So people don't have to understand what research is. So a lot of times people have gave me dud books, and the first thing I do, I go look at the back of the book. I go look at the sources.
Look,
So now I
what's
comb
back
through
there,
the
Coach?
sources.
What's back there? What you got back there?
We
What's in the
got
back
the
of the book?
sources, the sources. Right.
Sources.
So we
Mhm.
have to go through though and comb through those sources, right? And make sure that those people is not approaching it from a biased standpoint, right? We have to go through it and look and see that they looked at it from both sides of the coins, right? And then and we have to understand how they came up with their conclusion or their hypothesis. This is what we call proper research methodology. So so be careful when you telling me and you have recommended me a book, because if I get the book and the book is pseudo, when I go through it, I'm going to definitely tell you, you recommended a terrible book, right? I don't care because it said Black Africa on the front of it. When I
Yeah.
go through the sources, I'm gonna tear it to pieces, and I'm gonna let you know that was a bad recommendation because you should have did your due diligence of research before you passed the book on, right? So, but anyway, but I take that. So, but that was my difficulty episode, but I got through it. But and also,
You did great.
boom,
You
okay.
did great. You did
Right.
great.
So I got through it, man. I
You did
did.
great.
He
But
said I did a good job. So
you did a great job. But for both of us, what you're hearing, audience, I want to talk about this later, but we'll do it right now. In this show in real time, we're not just telling y'all a bunch of stuff. Both of us are learning as we're preparing the show.
yep.
And then in real time, are we talking like I'm sitting there doing the Kwanzaa section, I'm really learning about Kwanzaa. He went to East Africa and he went to West and South Africa. Because before the show even happens, I don't know everything Kofi is going to say, right? It's not that scripted out. So I'm sitting here in real time, like I'm a student in real time too. And then when we leave out of here, I go and find additional books and resources. Kofi just said after episode 7, he started reading books. Now he's doing book clubs and everything.
Yeah, I'm in the book
You know,
club.
talking to the actual author, which is amazing. And they're
Yes.
doing actual series together.
Yes.
Kofi's doing audio books. All that came up episode 7.
Mhm.
But back to applications.
Mhm.
We talked about episode 7, and like you've been doing audio books.
Mhm.
That wasn't in your bag at first.
Mhm.
You've been doing other things that wasn't in your bag. So
Yes. Yes.
we are in real time. We're learning
Yes.
as we're doing the modern day Griot. That's why I love doing this show.
Yes. That's definitely, we are definitely learning. We definitely learning, but I'm gonna get my overall thoughts, man, because I start going into it right
Yeah,
now.
I don't
But
want. It just came up right there.
yeah,
Man.
it's all good. But let's do the favorite guest, and I'll start first with the favorite guest, right? And we had tons of people, and everybody that came on the show was phenomenal to interview, right?
Yeah,
Great,
wonderful.
and every last one of them was
Wonderful.
a great interview, wonderful guest.
Easy to work with.
Easy to work with.
Wasn't no bougie stuff.
Right.
There wasn't no
Right.
flim flam that be happening sometimes. But
Right. I appreciate it. And I like it because it was all organic. For people that may not know, and it's not a slight or shout out, slight or shot to anyone. And me and Sean have talked about this a lot. And I even talk about this with my Kofi Piesie research group and the Mossy. We always, when we're doing things, we always try to make it to be organic. Sean the same way. So,
Yeah.
you know, I appreciate those who came on and made it organic. And what I mean by organic, we try to make it where it's not scripted at all.
It's not
So
scripted. It's not all.
Right.
Yeah.
So they didn't ask a whole lot from us. They didn't ask for questions. They didn't ask to change the book cover several things. They didn't ask they had to have this to come on. They didn't ask for any money. They didn't ask you only got 5 minutes or 10 minutes or this question is off.
Talk to my publicist and talk to my AR person, PR person.
Yes.
Come back around on the 15th, and we're gonna find out on the 3rd.
Yes. So we shout out to everybody that graced this podcast episode. So shout out to them. Well, and so I had well, we said the favorite episode. We already talked about the favorite episode. I got that on there twice.
We did. This is the favorite guest.
Okay, favorite guest. Right. Okay, favorite guest. So I got episode 3 in the air. I had episode 3 with Matt and
Texas Hold'em.
Yeah, Texas Hold'em with Dr. Ashley Wade. And I had that one, 3, and I had 7 with Sipton Reed.
Me too.
So I had to weigh them. So I had to weigh them. And I'm picking episode 7. And the reason why I'm picking episode 7 is that was one of my difficulty episodes. But in that episode, it impacted my work process. And what I mean by impacted my work process, I got introduced to a historical fiction book by Jonah Vassar, Black. I was gifted an audio book by Black, but I also bought the physical copy because I'm a physical reader. So that episode taught me that audiobooks are important as well. Not saying I ain't never did an audiobook, but I maybe throughout my studies for the past 11, 12 years, I probably done listened to 3, 4 audiobooks. So now my audiobook, just them breaking down audiobooks and annotating audiobooks, right? Because I like to annotate physical books. So I found out how you can annotate audiobooks, and I also found out that audiobooks can help me with my process when I'm interviewing people or I'm in a book club. And now I can go back to my book and I can annotate my books, or I can follow while the audio is playing. I can actually be reading along in my books and stop it and annotate at that process. Or I'm in my car. Now I can be listening to the book. So now I can be like, dang, I can't wait to get back home to read.
Increasing that comprehension, increasing that retention, increasing that recall.
Yes.
Come on, bro.
Yes.
Come on, man. We have a school right now.
Yes. And it also birthed me to write a historical fiction next year. And it also got me a part of a book club that now we're doing all 5 volumes of Jonah Vassar book. And after the last episode, we will be interviewing her. She has been a bestseller on all of her books. She recently just put a book out.
She's a major author.
Yes, and I'm learning from reading her books because it's setting me up for my historical fiction when I start writing it in maybe May. Yes. So that is the reason why I'm saying episode 7 with Sipton Reed, Shaquita, and Nikki as being the favorite guest, and that is the reason why. So I had to weigh it from that aspect. So that was my guess.
Once again, we always kind of peas in the pie. Since the beginning of this, we always on the same wavelength. I had the same debate tossed up, right? And I chose episode 7 for some of the same reasons, as far as in our content that we normally deal with, and our audience that we normally have, we don't deal with fictional things too much. We don't deal with romance genre like ever. We don't deal with relationship. We don't deal with society. But look how important relationship is to all of us.
Yes.
Relationships are key in society. Most of us are grown in the room. Most of us are in or have been in a relationship. We're all here because of relationships. Why don't we spend more time talking about relationships, improving relationships, improving the community, improving our household for our children? That we're supposed to be doing all this scholarship for our kids, while our relationship is paramount for our kids. You know what I'm saying? So, episode 7 was epic, and both of those sisters are so brilliant in what they do, and their their personalities and their spunk, spontaneity, their creativity. I mean,
Yes.
it's some of the things they bring to the table, man. So shout out to Sip the Reed.
Yes.
You might see him again in season 2. Who knows?
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, shout out to Dear B. Shout out to Dear B. Shout out to Vasa, Nicolo Guller. What up, brother?
What's going
Ashley
on?
still in here. Matt,
Y'all doing?
shout out in here. Who else? Peace to Sean P. Peace, Sean P.
The other Sean P.
Peace to Sucker Free. Whoever Sucker Free is, peace. Yeah, that's right. Keep the suckers away.
You know what I'm talking about?
But yeah, man, I want to acknowledge everybody in the chat, man. If I miss you, I'll come back to you and acknowledge you, man. But glad to see you too, Dear B. Glad to see you in the chat.
Dear B in the building.
Yes,
right
yes. So man, let's get into the overall thoughts, man. Your overall thoughts about the Griot podcast, man. What's your overall thoughts?
Okay. I had a long rundown I wrote the other night, but we're not gonna do all of that, man. But what I'm gonna do to make it short and sweet is I want to say, like I just said a little while ago, man. The beauty of the Griot podcast for me, first of all, Kofi and I, as you just seeing just now, we're on the same page, even without talking about it. This whole year, whenever Kofi called me or emailed me, man, Sean, I got an idea. I got a thought to run by you. I've never had to tell this man, no, let's not, let's hold back, let's rethink it. Like, he always is so on point for me. And that makes it an easy show to do because both of us, we're like the Wu-Tang Clan, if you will. Like, both of us got so many things going on individually, and we come together to make the modern day Griot happen. But, like, if this show was difficult to do, it wouldn't even be possible to do it. Because I would have to sit with so many things just to be able to do the show. It's so smooth and effortless. That's why I love it and I can do it. Because it's not a big old obligation on me. It's not pulling me in different directions. It's seamless. We got a process. We got a template. We can duplicate it. It's smooth. And also, I'm going to say one last thing. Both of us have a big old large library, right? And doing these shows, I love to scour my bookshelf to get ready for these shows. I should get a camera and record me and my library digging through. Oh, we doing Tupac Shakur? Wait a minute. We doing the Black Church? We doing the... So sometimes we do buy materials, of course, but like I love going on my own bookshelf because we all pride ourselves on how many books we got and our PDF stash and all that. But like to actually functionally use them and put them in a show format, educate people, I love doing it, man. This has been a highlight of my year. It's been the Griots Podcast. It's been a difficult year for everybody in different ways, man, and myself included. But this show has been a highlight and a consistent, stable part of my life. Every month, end of the month, I know the Griots Podcast is coming, and we're gonna have a good time, man. And the chat is always supportive, man. So I'm gonna leave it at that for right now.
Yeah, most definitely, man. And my overall thoughts too, man. Like I said, I'm gonna make it sweet and short, but we started this podcast 10 months ago, right? And we did a lot with this podcast. We put the podcast out, and then 2 or 3 episodes in, correct me if I'm wrong, we went right into writing a book for the podcast. So, and we put that book out, man. So, and just this my experience being one of the hosts of the Griot Podcast along with Sean, I have learned a lot from Sean, that I didn't know about. He have taught me a lot of things directly and indirectly by sharing this platform with him. The friendship that we established, and also the people he have introduced me to, and a lot of them have come onto this platform, the Griots Podcast platform. Right. And like he said, every episode I'm learning. So I don't have a bunch of friends. I got my Kofi Piesie research team, all those guys, Sutek, Sean, Chavez, Satep and Ra, all those guys, and then the Masi, I got Ben, my big brother Ben, who we just did African spirituality, Black Panther #9. Sean as well is also a part of that, and a few other brothers. But when I'm talking about friendship, right? Those are the people that I have that I met online and have had a friendship over the years. But in my own town, I don't have friends. So I don't have them because I can't waste my time around people that can't motivate me, inspire me, uplift me, and I can learn from. So just being a part of this Griot podcast with Sean, you know what I'm saying? Even with Sean being a host, he has motivated, inspired me, uplift me. And every episode, I learn something again because I don't know everything. So what I don't know, Sean always, you know what I'm saying, shares that information. So we both learning. So this is a learning experience. So for me, this is like a class. So we in class, and even though we are teaching, we are also learning at the same time. And then we're bringing on phenomenal other people who are also sharing their experience, also teaching us things, and also pushing us and motivating us to be better in the same sense, whether it's directly or indirectly. So this experience for the Griot podcast, man, has been a great experience, and we have done a lot in the last 10 months. It looked like that we have been doing this for a few years, far as with the publications, with the books. We did a book club for the other thing. Shout out to Dr. Ashley Wade, who did that, man. We have met phenomenal people. We have brung phenomenal people on the panel. Again, we have classes that's coming out, which supposed to have came out December, but we're definitely working on that. We actually finished. We just got to transport them to PowerPoint, right? Just the PowerPoints. So once that's it. So we have done a lot. We have done a lot in a short period of time. So man, I just I'm glad for this experience. And we went into this, and we went into this saying we agreed to doing 10 episodes and 10 contract. And if it's worth doing a going into a season 2, we'll do a season 2. So we have got support. We have got support. Our viewerships is steady going up. We have a lot of people that's always now just starting to try to come and attend. People going back, feedback. So we doing a season 2. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited for season 2.
Man, I'm excited.
Season 2 is chapter. You know what I'm saying? Season 2. Season
I've
2.
Never had seasons of anything in my life. I don't know about you, Kofi. I've never had seasons of anything.
Yes,
this is new.
Yes,
this is new to me. Season 2. I'm excited.
So we're going into season 2. And also I never experienced me being on YouTube since 2015, someone sponsoring something that I got going on. So we had sponsors. We actually had 2 sponsors. Someone who facilitated a space for us to shoot episode 5, and a person who was able to donate twice. You know what I'm saying? Not $50, not $25, not $15. Oh, hey, some donation. So shout out, so this was a great experience for me, man. So
episode season 2 we have some nice twists and turns to it.
Yes. It's gonna be a little bit format. Outline gonna be a little bit different. So we're talking about season 2, man. So you want to announce, man? So we and I'll let you announce it. You can announce it. You can announce it. Yeah. So, but we're having season 2. We're adding on another person to the Griots podcast. So you won't only see me and Sean. You will see me, Sean, and another addition, which will be a great addition, a great add-in. So
with no further ado, season 2 will have a wonderful a fellow co-host. It'll be our sister, Dr. Ashley Wade. Give it up in the chat. Give it up. Care about popular demand. Let me tell you, bro. I get so many inboxes. She know what I'm saying. I get so many inboxes all the time about Dr. Wade. People love Dr. Wade. They are crazy about Dr. Wade. They're probably the most requested person I hear about all the time is Dr. Wade. So to have her to be a consistent part of our show is important. And I told y'all this in private. I'm gonna say it on the air. You watch the First Take, you watch Undisputed. A lot of these popular shows, there's a prominent female figure in the format amongst the guys, and she's gonna be that balance for us. She's gonna be that feminine essence that we need, that female touch that we need. And so besides seeing our handsome faces every month, we will have the beautiful Dr. Wade in the book.
Yeah, that she is right there, Ashley Wade,
Right,
right there.
Dr.
Yay!
Wade, Ashley
So
Wade,
we're having a fee, and
the
that's what
Queen
we
Bee.
need. We need that balance. You know, y'all
I
getting
call
this
her
all
always
this.
got something to say because Dr. Wade always got something to say.
Yes,
Even though we
yes,
love to tussle,
yes,
we
yes.
weekly tussle in a good way. In a good way.
Yes, yes, man, and I know we need that feminine energy on the podcast. Y'all always get this masculine energy, so you know we bringing her on, and which is going to make it a better dynamic now. And I think it was all these episodes were good, but it's just only going to make the next season even better, man. So shout out to Dr. Ashley Wade. Let's give it up for Dr. Ashley Wade one more time.
Salute to the black woman, man. Salute to the black woman.
Yes, 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 yes. So now that we had that out the way, and we're going to close the show out with our women's segment, no other but announcing
Right.
beautiful,
Yeah.
intelligent women joining the panel. Now
Yeah.
we're going to end it with some
Women.
beautiful women that we venerate. And mine is going to be briefly. I'm gonna honor Marimi Annie, right? She graduated the University of Chicago, field organized for the students, nonviolence coordinating community in Mississippi from 1963 to 1966. Richards married Robert Paris Mosey in 1964, and the couple divorced in 1966. Richard attended the New School of the Social Research and received the MA and PhD in anthropology and has focused her research on African culture. She taught African studies at Hunter College. She is also known as Marimi Annie. Marimi Annie is best known for her works Uhuru. Matter of fact, her best works are Uhuru, a comprehensive critique of European thoughts and culture, and her coming to the terms Ma'afa for the African Holocaust. African Holocaust. So here is one of the books right here.
That's crazy. I've always seen that book around.
Yes.
In plenty of circles. I've always seen it. I've never had it.
Thick
How
book.
many pages is that? I didn't know it was that big.
It's a thick book. I bought this book, man, 2006.
I see it's thicker than the Snickers.
Yeah, it's 600 some pages. I read the book. It took me a while to read the book. I ain't gonna lie, because I went to it, come back, come back to it. But I think about it in 2016. I bought it at the African Art Gallery in Jackson.
I gotta get that.
Mm-hmm. And here is another book.
You got some more?
Let the Circle Be Unbroken. It's a thin lit book.
I've never seen that.
I recommend this book for a lot of women also as well. Good book. Read both of the books.
Gotcha.
Hopefully one day, you know, we could maybe interview her, man. Because I know, Sean, if you ever read her works, I know you're going. I know Dr. Wade. I know Dr. Wade would love both of these books. This is right up Dr. Wade's alley. I know she would love both of these books. So that is mine for honoring Marimi Annie.
Yes, sir. Let me get down to mine. So I love this topic, man. Whenever we sit down discussing our honoring the ancestors and honoring the black women section, I'm really always trying to dig in my mind, like, who is not really a widely talked about person. This sister is amongst that category. Sister Enise Carter, right? Enise Roberta Hunting Carter was an African-American lawyer. She was one of New York's first female African-American lawyers and one of the first African-American prosecutors in the United States. She was active in Pan-African Congress and the United Nations committees to advance the status of women in the world. She was also, her most known thing she's known for, she was a key assistant to Special Prosecutor Thomas Dewey when she is credited with establishing key factors in the prosecution of the mobster Charlie Lucky Luciano. If you ever watched The Godfather of Harlem, Rick Ross got a line in the opening song that's so hot. You think you're lucky Luciano? That's Lucky Luciano, right? So her book is called Invisible. I saw it in the airport years ago in passing. I saw this book with this black woman in the courtroom, like she posturing like she going in, right? I'm like, man, who is that? But bro, the book is incredible. Even hearing about her mother and her father and her brother, like the whole family is very incredible, prominent scholars. They had like these high and mighty parties they was throwing, and these well-to-do, they had these weddings and these big old blowout events they was having, like, you know, just this black black excellence, black opulence. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of a thing going on. So go out there and get her book called Invisible, man.
Oh, I'm gonna have to definitely try. I'm gonna have to definitely get that, man.
Yeah.
Invisible, man. Shout out to Billy. I didn't Billy, how you doing, Billy? I didn't see you in there a while ago. I knew you was in there. Yeah, and Juvenation in there. Juvenation. Shout out to that sister as well, man. Follow her on a phenomenal poet as well. So shout out to her. But go ahead, you finna say something?
Yeah. So years ago, during the pandemic, actually, so every Black History Month, I try to highlight a certain sector of life, not just the stereotypical Black History Month stuff. So I did a Blacks in Science one year. I did Blacks in Law one year. I'm gonna do Blacks in Medicine probably in February. There's a possibility coming up. But that year I did Blacks in Law. I really went into her story a lot in that Blacks in Law presentation.
For sure. So, man, that's the end of episode 10, man. This is the season finale, y'all. Man, 10 episodes, bro. We got to give ourselves a hand, man.
Just for seeing things through. It's easy to say something. It's easy to start something when that momentum is just getting going.
Yes.
But to keep it going, keep it strong. Life happens. You have a family. I have a family. You work a lot. I work a lot. You got businesses and things. I got other things. There's so many things happening. And to every month, still come and do this consistently is just remarkable, man.
Yes.
Remarkable.
Yes, man. So y'all be looking for episode 1 of season 2 of season 2.
Episode 1. We got our guests already lined up, correct?
Yes, we'll be interviewing a narrator. What I forgot the brother name. D. Lewis, right? And man, narrators, y'all need to, and y'all please check that January the 21st. And I'm saying that is because I'm talking about just trenched in audio books also, right? And man, it has to be you have to be skilled, especially when you telling stories. Like when you telling stories, man, and the passing, man.
And Kofi, the further you get into this audio narration world, right? I've been following some guys on Instagram lately that they're narrators, they're showing you behind the scenes as they're narrating.
Okay.
Just watching them, when you're doing fiction in particular, and you're changing your voice to be different people, especially if you're a guy reading a book and you're doing both of the characters, male and female, or the vice versa. If you're a female doing more than one voice, more than one character, and making it sound seamless and fluid, it's amazing, bro.
That's a skill, bro. You got to have a skill, and you do that consistently. Consistently, right? Yes. So
I can't wait to talk to that brother and pick his brain on the world of audio narration, how we got into it, some of the behind the scenes that we don't know about. Some things that's difficult in doing that. I don't know about you, Kofi, but I recorded 3 audio books myself.
Yeah, I hadn't did now.
I had a phenomenal time recording. And if you are writing,
so shout out to that, man.
I appreciate that. If you're a writer in the chat and you watching, whenever you see the video, whenever you see the video, if you're a writer, I really, really implore you. And I told Drea, the Sunflower poet, this too. Go and try to read your work aloud. It's going to totally change your writing process.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It look good and sound good in your head when you writing on the screen. When you start actually trying to perform it, it's a performance. You will change your whole entire writing style doing that process.
Yep.
I put it like that.
So we finna get out here, but also, I did a small commercial the other day. I'm running a special for Same Tree Different Branch Publishing. If you want your book published, I've been doing that to January the 2nd. January the 2nd is over 50%. Now, I hate I did that because I ended up with 2 more clients.
Congratulations. Hit the button.
Yeah, but when I applied that 50%,
it bust you up.
Oh, it bust me up. I said I made a mistake. I made a mistake. So, if you want to still take advantage, you got till Wednesday, and it's over with. And I'm not doing ever. I'm gonna probably do another sale, but I'm never doing a 50% sale. 25. That's the highest I'm gonna go. But 50%, if you're looking to get your book published,
maybe high 30.
Maybe high 30. You know what I'm saying? you better take advantage of it. I'm telling you, dog. I'm telling you.
On a serious note, people that want to, all these New Year resolutions coming around right now, and affirmations and vision boards. Anybody that really planning on saying, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and sit down and really put the pen to the pad and do a book next year. Take advantage of the situation right now while you can, man. Get an actual person. See, once again, people inbox me all the time, man. Sean, how do I go about publishing a book? What's the process and how I get? Talk to Kofi. I say it every day on my inbox. Talk to Kofi. Holla at Kofi. Kofi does this. Holla at the man. He's thorough in what he does. I'm not being biased. He's thorough. He's serious. He barely ever sleep. You know what that means? Whenever you in the bed sleeping, rolling over, he probably on your project working.
Yep, I'm working.
Probably working. So, holla at Kofi.
Yeah, definitely. And if you want some music, like, you know what I'm saying, I produce music. The song I played earlier, that was something I did. I did that. So, you know, I got a production company called Ubuntu Music, where we do tracks. So if you want a track, or even you just want something, you want to do a commercial, you need some commercial music, you know what I'm saying? Just holler at your boy. I got a 50% off on that as well. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be able to send you.
Now have podcasts. They want to have opening music for their podcast or closing music for podcasts. So you know, all these different ways there. People need productions, original sound. Not to get flagged and not to get all the copyright infringement, all that legal stuff. You want some original sound, man. So.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. I'll send you the WAV and the WAV file and the MP3 file. So you have the MP3 and the WAV. You can take it to an engineer and they can separate the tracks separately by themselves. They have full authority over the music. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Holler at me. But if you know you can't holler at me, I can show you there's ways on how you can get free music that's already produced where you won't get it flagged on flagged on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and etc. Just holler at me, man. There's different apps, there's different all types of tools, man, that you can use for free. You know what I'm saying? So take advantage of those tools as well, man. But I want to say, man, we out of here, man. We appreciate it. That's a wrap. This season, episode is 10.
Man, we out of here. Share it out.
Yeah, share it out, man. I'm gonna leave y'all again with I Won't Stop, I Can't Stop. That's a song I produced. I did the beat, and went to my cousin's studio and recorded it. I never did just push and promote it because I was trying to do like a small EP. Never got a chance to completing it this year, but hopefully next year I'll be able to do an EP or something with maybe 5 or 6 songs on there. But this is one of the songs that was supposed to be on there. It's called Can't Stop, Won't Stop. Now, it's just a braggadocious song, but the whole EP is going to be like, I'm going to give you some kind of ignorant, you know, but I'm going to give you a lot of stuff that's uplifting, you know what I'm saying, and have a lot of teachable moments, you know what I'm saying? But we out of here, man. Here it is right here, man.
I'm a wild animal, boy. I'm untamed, I'm uncooked. Like raw cocaine, I'm diabolically off the chain, off the hook, off the meat rack. They say I spit fire, but I'ma say I spit crack. I'm located at the bottom of your map. Your brothers go hard, you other brothers ginger snap. You spit dookie, make me wanna take a crap. I can't stop, I won't stop. I can't stop, I won't stop. I told ya I can't stop, I won't stop. I can't stop, I won't stop. I told ya. Yeah, it writers, y'all ain't no it writers. Y'all it biters, and I'm hotter than a lighter. Y'all in the dark, and my future getting brighter. I'm elevating higher and higher. I'm heating up. It's a fire. As a teenager, I had a felony priors. Put a spin on the game like the spin on your dryer. Or the white walls on your tires. I can't stop, I won't stop. I can't stop, I won't stop. I told ya I can't stop, I won't stop. I can't stop, I won't stop. I told ya. Yeah, I'm back at it like a crack addict. Mississippi finest, Kofi Piesie. And oh yeah, I'm on the beat, in Ubuntu music. I can't stop, I won't stop. I can't stop, I won't stop.